Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're taking a look at something very special, so no tossing this time. This is Bandai's Rahxephon kit from all the way back in 2002. So, I mean, we've taken a look at older kits. It's not too surprising that it's an older kit, but the really cool thing about this kit is that it's a pretty rare kit, I feel like. So I want to say a huge thank you to Kyle, who reached out and sent this kit to me, so thank you so much to him for that. I'm a big fan of this design. I've seen the series a long time ago, and I remember thinking like, it's very much like Evangelion, but it was an interesting series to watch. I've also heard from some people that they think it's kind of boring or whatever, but I thought it was interesting. I think it's a cool design, and I am looking forward to Moderoids, the new model kit version of this coming out in the Moderoid line, I think next year. So that'll be cool, but for now, I really am glad to be able to take a look here at Bandai's version of this because, you know, before Kyle sent this to me, I've never actually seen this kit in person, never seen it in the wild anywhere. So it's not one that I think is too readily available out there. So really cool to have this, to be able to build it and share it with you guys. So let's go ahead and get right into it here for today's video. So all right, let's start off by just taking a look at this awesome box art, and we'll take a look around the box and check out the contents here before we get the kit all built up. But yeah, beautiful box artwork here on the front with the Rahxephon logo. We've got the character, I don't remember any of the characters' names, unfortunately, but the female character right there. You can see some of the birds flying, which was like a kind of common aesthetic in the series, and one of the angels there in the background as well. But very cool illustration work here for the cover art on the front. Really, really, really nice. And then on the ends of the box, I mean, you can see it's not a very thick box by any means, so we don't have like a ton of stuff in here. You can see this is an older box where we still have the MSRP printed on here, so 1,800 yen is the MSRP for this kit. This is 01 in the Rahxephon collection series, and I think this was the only model that they ever made. I don't think they ever got to a 02, unfortunately. Here's like the logo there from that. We got a little bit more kind of story information there, it looks like. A detail image of the face parts, it looks like, and then some photos of the painted build. It doesn't look like it's gonna be all very posable necessarily, but we have some cool options like having the wings closed on the face, for example. So we'll see what it can do. Here on the other side of the box, we've got some information here about the story, the pilot character there. We do have some credits in English, but most everything on here is just going to be in Japanese. And then some stills there from the anime, aiming at a new age's standard there. It's a really beautiful anime, I will say. So I don't know, as far as I can remember, I enjoyed it. But let's go ahead and pop it open and see what we've got in here. So we've got our instruction manual and all the runners, which aren't in bags, but that's fine. We'll take a closer look at all those in just a second. I believe that Kyle had said he had taken the runners out of the bags, but here on the front of the instruction manual, we have got the painted sample build there. A photograph of that, again, with all the titling and everything. On the back side, some more sample images here, so you can get a sense of the painting on that. We do also have the color guide down here as well, so just detail images so you can see where all the little paint apps go on the design. On the inside here, more stuff all in full color, so it's making me feel like the construction is going to be very short, as it's just like a 4-page thing here, and the first page is going to be parts list, so we've got 1, 2, 3 pages of construction, and that's going to be the extent of that. So not a very complicated kit by any means, but anyway, back to just the inside of here. Once again, a little bit about the story there, background information about like some of the elements of the story. So kind of nice introduction if you can read all the Japanese into just kind of like the story and the different elements of what's going on in the anime. There's a little bit more about that there as well, and a little bit more kind of about the Rahxephon itself, kind of talking about some of the different aspects of the design there, I guess. So anyway, very cool. We do have, it looks like, this pre-painted part here for the face. If we get really close, actually, let me just go ahead and pop this out of the bag here for us. A couple of interesting things about this. I will say the quality of the pre-painting is not like really the best, but also this is in like a soft plastic. So the wings for the head here are very soft and bendy. I would be kind of concerned about maybe bending this too much, that it might weaken and ultimately break, but having the whole face part and these wings all in this soft plastic is interesting. I have to say that I hope that that's not going to be the case for the Moderoid version later on, but considering this is from a 2002 release, it's certainly a very interesting aspect of the kit. We'll see how that works later on. We do also have some stickers in here, and some, I think maybe an understatement, we have a bunch of stickers in here. for color correcting little bits of blue, white, and yellow around on the kit for those foil stickers. And getting into the runners then, we are going to have some polycaps here, PC123 for our polycaps in gray. And the A runner is a nice big full 4-color runner here with some clear orange on one side, blue up at the top, yellow down here. It's a kind of very interesting kind of pale yellow, and then the white. The white, I think, is like a slightly, very, very slightly pearlescent white. It's kind of hard to tell if it's just shiny or if it does have a little bit of pearlescence to it, but it looks kind of interesting there. You can see the part for the closed wings face part right there. That's gonna obviously need a little bit more detail painting to be color accurate, but here is runner B, and yeah, I'm still thinking that I think it has a little bit of pearlescence to the white plastic there, but there's all the rest of our white parts. Runner C in this very interesting brown color here for basically all like the joint parts and everything there for the kit. This runner is in ABS plastic, if that is of concern to you, but that should be interesting. And then lastly, runner D is another runner of soft plastic parts, very soft rubbery parts here for these couple of white parts there. Are hand parts, which are also going to be in this soft rubber, and these couple of like kind of polycap type parts, which are in this soft rubber plastic, which is even softer than what is typically used for polycaps. So some really, really interesting stuff going on here with this kit. Let me go ahead and get it put together and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so it was a very interesting build. Here it is all put together. It didn't require any glue, although there is maybe a couple parts that I would recommend gluing, and we'll talk some more about that here in just a second. We don't really have much in the way of accessories to go over with this. That will be a very quick segment of the video. But yeah, it's definitely a very unique build just for all the stickers that it has, which we'll also talk some more about, and just kind of the general construction, the use of those really soft rubber parts there for a couple parts on the body. Yeah, a lot of questionable choices here by Bandai. You can definitely tell that they were trying out some things that didn't really, I think thankfully, didn't really continue for other model kits on the line. I'm not sure how similar this might be to Bandai's Big O kit, since I've not built that one, but being that they're kind of one-off kits from other anime series, I would imagine they may be sort of similar. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a closer look here at the Rahxephon. So yeah, all we really have for accessories is a couple of hand options. Now, I'll talk some more about the fact that the hands are rubber in a second, but just we have open hands and closed fists there for the left and the right side. And then we've got this optional piece here for the faceplate that you're going to swap out if you wanted to have the wings closed. So basically you're just going to remove that part, remove this part. Now I mentioned about gluing parts. The only parts that I did put a little bit of glue on is these like little parts, fins on the back of the head. I put a little bit of glue on those just because they were a little bit loose. I just wanted to make sure they weren't falling off in the middle of the review, but actually my bad. You can leave that yellow piece on there. You don't need to remove that. Anyway, put the faceplate on there. And then you have the wings closed on the face like that, but being an all white piece, obviously not going to look near as good as this one, which that pre-painting on there does help it to look a little bit nicer, I will say. Now, that's it for the accessories, and just on the note of these rubber parts. So this one, because it's already cut out for you, is fine, but on the parts on like the lower legs, so those other large rubber parts that we had, is that these parts here for the shin, which I really don't know why they needed to be in rubber. We also have the hand parts in rubber, and then there's a couple like rubber parts that end up working like polycaps, which are actually here in the midsection there, which I guess their thinking behind that was to give this a nicer bend here at the midsection. But because they're rubber, I mean, you can bend it and then it'll just like spring back. So it doesn't really work that well. It just kind of makes it kind of mushy feeling here in the torso bend. But anyway, there's a couple of rubber parts in there. Problem with these is that it's very, very difficult to clean up these quite large gates that you have there. So you're gonna have some nub marks, and you can even see this in the promotional art here in the manual if you look closely. You can even see the nub marks there on those parts on the lower legs. So yeah, it's something that's gonna be an issue for you if you're wanting to get like a really clean build with this. Probably what would be the best bet would be to, I think you can try to freeze these parts, and then that makes it a little bit easier to cut and sand them. So I've heard, I've not tried it. The other option would just be to like scratch build some new parts. Now this is going to be the other issue with this, and I'm not sure if this is just because the kit is as old as it is. The sticker adhesive is not great, so even though you have all these stickers, basically all this blue lining around here on the legs that you see there is just a bunch of all those little stickers, and you can see there's a number of them just kind of peeling off and falling off, and probably over the course of this review you're gonna see some of them disappearing just because they're just not really wanting to stay on there very well. So just straight out of the box, those are gonna be your main issues. I mean, the rubber parts are kind of difficult to deal with. All the stickers don't really want to stay on that well. Otherwise, I mean, just as far as the mold goes, I think it is a good looking mold. Just being a simple kind of good looking representation there of the design, it overall looks pretty good. So aside from all those blue stickers around on the legs, we also have a couple of stickers like here in the midsection right there, on the front of this yellow part right there, you can see. So on the front of the shoulder armor, there's also those like yellow stickers there. The clear orange parts also look really nice, give a little bit of like a pop there in the color. You can see those around on a few different points around on the kit, so those do look good. And if you look closely, I mean, you can see some nice details in and around on some of the parts there, so you can kind of get the sense that once it is fully painted and everything, it is going to look pretty nice. Once you've overcome some of those difficult aspects of the build, you will also have like some seam lines here and there as well that you'll have to worry about. No way to plug this onto an action base, so if you wanted to have this up in like some aerial pose, you'll have to like just like drill a hole here in the back or something. I think would be easy enough to do. But speaking of posing this kit, let's talk a little bit about the articulation. The shoulder armor, as I was just about to show you, is here on a little ball joint there on the top. So you can kind of move the arm up and down, in and out to only about to there, like 45 degrees. The elbow joint also gonna only give you about not even 90 degrees there, close to 90 degrees bend. You also have rotation there at the top of the elbow joint. The hand is just on a ball joint, which you're just kind of gonna be able to rotate slightly, and that's kind of about it. The head you are able to move up and down a little bit, and it does kind of show that clear orange part up there in the torso as well. You can move it up and down, turn it slightly. It just kind of looks a bit weird because of this part here at the front though. So it's kind of strange looking. Your best bet is probably just to leave it in just kind of a looking straight on pose there like that. As you saw just a moment ago, we have a little bit of articulation kind of bending here in the midsection, although it doesn't really work all that well. Twisting as well. You can also kind of twist it. It's an interesting gimmick with like this front part kind of swiveling a bit, kind of as you turn that midsection, it kind of like turns to the side. That's kind of cool. Here at the leg, it's obviously not hindered by any kind of skirt armor. We do have a double joint at the knee, but you're only going to be able to bend it to about there, and actually a little bit of separation of this knee armor. If you saw there, you can see how that kind of moves. So that's kind of interesting. I wish that was actually able to bend a little bit more, but I think it's just due to the design and the limitations of Bandai's technology at the time. That's probably just about as good as they were going to get. And then once you get down here to the feet, very interesting feet in that when it's meant to be just flying, they kind of just close up like that. Otherwise you can stretch them out, and it does stand pretty well. As you saw at the beginning of the review section, it stands and balances actually quite nicely for being as like tall and thin as it is. The feet actually work surprisingly well to hold it up. You do have a polycap there on the bottom of the feet. Not really sure exactly what that's meant to be for. I guess you could plug an action base connector up into the bottom of the foot. It would be kind of weird, but you could try that. Anyway, other than that, I mean, we have some forward and back movement here of this whole foot section, side to side as well. My only guess about this rubber part here on the front is that they wanted that to be rubber so that you could kind of bend the foot a little bit better and not have this getting in the way, but it's really not in the way at all. So yeah, it's just kind of an odd choice. But just to wrap up then, let's take a look at a couple of poses, because as you may have guessed, it's not really going to be the most posable kit, so there's not really too much that I can show you here to finish off the review. But I'll just say, a very, very interesting kit to check out. Like I said, I really wanted to check this kit out just because it's a cool design and it's a very unique kit, being one that's just not very common. You don't really come across it too often. Like I said, I had never come across it before in the wild in Japan or anywhere else really, so it was cool to be able to build such a pretty rare kit as far as I know. So I hope you guys also enjoyed taking a look at this kit here with me. Obviously, if you guys wanted to check it out for yourself, I'm not really sure. You could try hunting one down, probably on like Mandarake or Amiyami something. Probably you'd have to get one from a secondhand source online, probably from Japan. I'm not sure, but you could look around online for it. With the Moderoid kit of this coming out, I would say probably just wait for that. It's undoubtedly going to be a much better kit overall. The nice thing, I think probably ultimately what I may try to do with this kit, and what I think would be the best, I mean, if you have this kit or if you want to get this kit, I think the best thing to do with this probably would just be to opt to just kind of do all the cleanup cleanup modification, removing the seam lines and everything like that, and then just like hand painting the kit and do like a cool hand painting effect on it, I think might look kind of interesting. You could even like paint it up to look like a stone statue or something, I think might also look kind of cool. But for now, that's going to be it for this review, guys. Let me know what you think about the kit in the comment section down below. Really looking forward to the Motoroid kit coming out whenever that's coming out, so I will not do anything with this for the time being, just so that when the Motoroid kit comes out, we can take a look at the two of them side by side. For now, I'll just be hanging on to this guy, and again, a big thank you to Kyle for sending this to me to check out and share with you guys. If you do want to check out some more awesome mecha model kits, check the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. We've got all sorts of cool stuff there for you guys to check out, Motoroid and otherwise. And if you guys would leave a like, leave a comment, make sure you're subscribed. It really helps out a lot. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Until next time, hope you guys all have a great day. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.